Welcome to Spotlight Features, The Cost of Living. We come to you today from 21 Kane Street in downtown St. Thomas at Project Tiny Hope, where we are building new affordable housing for YWCA St. Thomas Elgin. We acknowledge that the land on which we meet is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabeg, Ottawandarronk, and Mississauga peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also recognize that this land is now home to the Munsee Delaware Nation, Chippewas of the Thames First Nation, and Oneida Nation of the Thames. This land was settled through Treaty 2, the McKee Purchase Treaty of 1790, and we, as beneficiaries of the treaty, recognize our collective responsibilities to the land and water. I'm Lindsay Rice, Executive Director of YWCA St. Thomas Elgin. As somebody deeply committed to community development and social justice, I'm thrilled to walk you through today's episode. Working at the YWCA for the last 20 years, I have witnessed many families face challenges associated to the cost of living, stagnant wages, and the lack of affordable housing and childcare in our community. We know that together, creative solutions can endure and create opportunities for those most vulnerable. What I've learned through this work is that change is possible. People are committed to persevering, looking for alternative solutions, and collaborating together. So settle in and prepare to be moved by these incredible stories as we hear about wonderful journeys happening across Canada. As many Canadians struggle to buy a home, imagine governing a small community while facing that same challenge. For one Ontario mayor, she is working tirelessly to bring affordable housing to her rural municipality. Let's take a look now at Carla's inspiring journey.
I'm Natasha Salonen, and I'm the mayor of the township of Wilmot. I've been mayor for about 2.5 years. When I was growing up, my dad got diagnosed with ALS when I was 10, and we started navigating what having a chronic palliative condition looks like. And I learned very quickly actually about our healthcare system not being what I thought a universal healthcare system was. And you have to pay for a lot of things that aren't covered under your provincial insurance plan. And I thought that was really unfair, and also learned our taxation system wasn't the fairest either. So that really interested me kind of in policy. Really got interested in local issues, and in particular a development in our community for an apartment. Went to that council meeting virtually and was really surprised that councillors didn't realize policy at provincial levels that dictate the decisions that they made. Was talking with a neighbor, I said, you know, I think I might run for mayor, because at the time planning was at the regional level and we're a two-tiered government. And so the mayor was the only voice on planning matters, and also I was looking at all the growth that we're expecting in our community, and I really wanted to have a voice around the table, certainly from my generation, who wants to stay in our community and make it a better place. From there, I ran for mayor. I won over 60% of the vote, and many things have changed in those years. Planning has been downloaded to our local government level, so it's now at the township. This is just a nice resident sending me an invitation for lunch. The mayor of Wilmot is technically a part-time role. To hold this position is because it's not attainable for a lot of people who have great skill sets and things to bring to the table, but don't have the ability financially to be able to commit to something that is a part-time job, but the expectation is full-time, 24/7, 365. I certainly could afford to rent in Wilmot. It's a lot harder, as a lot of renters know, to then save up for down payments, especially with the rental market right now. What I'm really kind of hopeful for is some of our new developments that are coming online. I've been working with the developers on how can we start building kind of like wartime housing again, and those smaller starter homes. I know that a lot of developers are like, well, if the market's there, we'll build it. And I'm like, it is. There just aren't options for people to go into these now. as well as we're seeing both on people who want to enter the market who are open to smaller types of housing. We're also seeing on the other end, I have a lot of seniors in my community who don't want the 4 or 5 bedroom home anymore. There is no affordable option of where do I move next and still stay in the community. So really for me, I'm excited about over the next few years seeing that type of housing being built in our community, while also still keeping the rural charm and not turning into, 16-story buildings. We don't have a fully connected transit system out here. We have a bus that runs Monday to Friday. You still need to essentially have a car out here to really thrive. We don't really know what's going to happen in the future in terms of the real estate market. I know there's a bit of a dip right now and no one buying because of the larger economic context. So we might see more opportunities as well come up of housing prices going down. I'm hopeful about it.
Now let's travel to Nelson, British Columbia, where one of the most successful rural car shares continues to drive home cost-saving measures for drivers. Nelson City Councillor Leslie Payne can personally attest to the benefits of this initiative. Living in a city with limited public transit options, car share programs offer a valuable solution for improving access to reliable and affordable transportation.
We do have this culture of the personal automobile means freedom. And I think the generation that's coming in now and reaching adulthood is going to have to identify freedom differently. My name's Leslie Payne. I am a city councillor here in Nelson, where I've lived for nearly 13 years now. I joined the car share in 2018. It was basically a group of neighbors sitting around a kitchen table saying, why do we all own vehicles? Wouldn't it be more affordable for us if we owned a compact vehicle, a family sedan, and a truck as a group of 10 to 12 families? So it started out very informally that way in 2002. And has grown ever since. You can choose the vehicle that you want from 15 minutes to 6 weeks, because we know that most vehicles are parked for between 80 and 95% of their life. So if you can just use the vehicle that suits your need when you need it, it is a pretty good cost savings. We haven't owned a vehicle for quite some time. I did raise my children as a low-income mom. So affording a vehicle of our own just didn't make sense. We've been really fortunate. Before we lived in Nelson, we lived in White Rock, and we lived in a place where the bus stop was across the street. We could walk into town. We came with that thought of there's multiple ways to get around, and we needed to do it affordably. We got here and we were all working sort of minimum wage jobs and, living in our usual 2-bedroom place, trying to settle in and, make a life here. We were very invested in saving money to spend on things that had more value for us, which is how we were able to afford our house. And that residential security for us was pretty key. I don't really see us, our family, owning a personal vehicle again. We'll only ever share. There's no question about it. There's no math that shows that it doesn't work to make life more affordable for everyone. As the price of vehicle ownership goes up, and it's only going up, insurance costs, fuel costs, maintenance costs are getting right out of control, then it becomes a pretty attractive alternative.
Here are 3 reasons why your social strategies should include Rogers TV. Reason number 1 is we have hyper-local audiences. The community TV channel gives you a chance to engage with people where you live, so you really get to know your neighbors and they get to know you. Reason number 2 is we can help diversify your distribution. With social media, it's really important to be able to have a wider audience, and Rogers TV can actually help complement your online presence by delivering to a different audience. And it's actually really easy to repurpose your existing content or to just create new material specifically tailored for community TV. And finally, reason number 3 is we can help enhance your credibility and your trust. And by aligning your brand with Rogers TV, you can tap into that trust that viewers have. This can boost your reputation, especially among viewers who favor local businesses and value community involvement. 1, 2, 3. It's that easy to build your local audience with Rogers TV.
Our next story features Housing and Homelessness Supervisor Alicia Cuglietta, who knows the work it takes to not only find but also maintain permanent housing for vulnerable populations. Her dedication and insights are truly remarkable. The YWCA works with many individuals and families facing homelessness, and the journey to stability can be long and challenging. Alicia's story is a testament to the power of perseverance and support.
You really get to know people, and it's so easy to drive past the shelters and drive down our streets and drive by our communities and have assumptions, right? But when you get to really know people's stories and know where they've come from and how they've grown, it's really quite amazing. My name's Alicia Cuglietta. I'm the Housing and Homelessness Supervisor with Social Services. So I've been with the organization for about 14 years now. So right now, my role is to oversee the shelter systems that we have within our community. Our shelters are at capacity every day, so trying to really work with our frontline team and how to support them to house individuals. It's no secret we're in a housing crisis in Sault Ste. Marie and in the community as a whole. So this is Pauline's Place Bridge Unit. So it's an 8-bed program for women. It's provided 16 hours of support every day to help them with any daily life skills to help them transition to more independent living in the community. So this is one of the rooms here of one of our participants, and so they have a quite beautiful room. They have their own fridges, TVs, things like that, and they're able to, make it kind of their own space. We've had individuals who have entered our shelter system who have been in the lowest point of their life, and they've been able to secure stable housing. They've been able to recover and stabilize their life and become homeowners or renters and live independently in the community.
Actually, I would have to say my life has improved here. And I could sleep. I think I don't know why, but from the very first day I slept like a baby. I don't know why. Maybe because there's so many locks. Definitely an improvement. I've learned a lot being here, a lot about me and, that kind of thing. So I'm grateful. I guess is the word. I'm very grateful for this place.
The economy is changing. Things are so unaffordable and unattainable. And again, when you're on a fixed income, it makes it a lot more difficult. With social services, we continue to strive forward in providing more affordable units in the community. We currently have an 11-plex that is in the works and hoping to be online come this summer. 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units, some modified units, they're gorgeous. Being able to continue to bring units online is fantastic for the community, and hopefully that will help to resolve some of the housing crisis. We want to be able to provide people with somewhere to live that is safe and affordable. We don't want people to think that they're not deserving of something that is beautiful and able to call their own. I think a lot of us take these things for granted, and coming from a shelter system and going into a place where you have keys and you can unlock your own door and lock your door at night and feel safe and secure, I mean, you can't put words on that.
Have you noticed your grocery bill creeping higher, even when you're buying the same things? Across Canada, the cost of living is rising. In Gander, Newfoundland, food prices are no exception. What used to cost $18 now costs $30. Brenda Anderson runs a not-for-profit called Meals to Give, helping feed those in need. She sees firsthand how far a dollar doesn't go anymore and how it's hard to get by and keep up.
Groceries, gas, services, heating costs, support. The cost of all these things is rising. Everything is going up, and your dollar does not go as far as it used to. People are struggling to keep up and doing what they have to cut corners to save a dime. However, some are not able to make it work and are just going without. Nowhere is this more obvious than in the eyes of Brenda Anderson, as she does her best to keep the Meals to Give program operational in Gander, Newfoundland. Today, we are at the Gander Curling Club, where the local grade 12 students are hosting a takeout dinner fundraiser. But they have also gone the extra mile and used this as a way of supporting the Meals to Give program.
This one is helping two causes in one. It's a 2025 grad for Gander Collegiate. They're doing a fundraiser to raise funds for their grad, and people have been donating meals and to the program, like buying the meals and giving it to Meals to Give, so it's helping them and it's helping us.
Brenda has 5 volunteer drivers lined up for this delivery of just over 30 meals.
Right now, there's about 450 people in the community that reach out, some on a constant basis, some on an occasional basis, because people are hungry. People can't afford fresh bread for a sandwich. They can't afford the mayonnaise.
Day-to-day costs and operations at the Gander Bread Box have also been affected. The price of ingredients and supplies has gone up. Wages need to increase to meet costs of living for staff, and consumers are making changes in their spending habits.
It is really hard. I mean, you know, just for us alone, the increases. I mean, I use a product here that has gone up $13 per case. I mean, and then we're scrabbling to figure out how we're going to, you know, incorporate that into our costs to our consumer. I mean, just walking into the grocery store these days, I mean, you come out with 4 items and you're talking close to $100. It's crazy. And, you know, there's a reason that, you know, kids are raised on hot dogs and, you know, the processed food, because that's the cheapest out there, and you have no other choice. That's what the budgets you know, entail, and that's it.
Now, we all know that a bag of potatoes last year you could get, even when they were gone up, for like, you know, $5.99. I mean, $7.89 and $9.99 for a 10-pound bag of potatoes. So extra costs are gone through the roof, right? And mayonnaise has gone through the roof. Cold cuts are gone through the roof. A dozen eggs, $5.27. A thing of blueberries, $9. And who can afford that? I can't afford that. You know, we're all hurting.
Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
Finally, let's head to Ottawa, where the high cost of living has been a catalyst for one organization to create new ways for individuals and families to access affordable furnishings. It's amazing what we can do when we come together as a community and create these innovative solutions.
They want to be able to provide for their kids, and when you can't, like, it's an awful lot of pressure for people, and especially right now, and it's getting worse and worse. So if they pay for rent, they're not eating, and if they're eating, they're not able to afford their rent. We're seeing more and more people that are of the middle income bracket because they can no longer afford furniture as well, because everything else costs so much. Helping with Furniture is a charitable organization that is completely run and operated by volunteers. We take in donated furniture and household goods, and we re-gift it to clients who are moving into empty homes and can't afford to furnish it.
I was going through a really bad separation, left a very abusive relationship. I ended up going to Natalie to actually access her services. She was amazing. They came in and sort of helped me start my life from scratch and, you know, gave me all the necessities, I guess, that I needed to start my life again.
Here's an incredible video showcasing Project Tiny Hope coming to fruition, demonstrating the community collaboration between YWCA St. Thomas Elgin, Doug Terry Homes, and Sanctuary Homes, building 40 affordable housing units. Thank you to Doug Terry Homes for organizing and implementing this amazing Blitz build. We are so grateful for your support. Thank you for joining us on Spotlight Features, The Cost of Living. We've seen how individuals and communities are tackling affordability challenges with creativity and resilience. As we continue to navigate these issues, let's remember the importance of solidarity and innovation. My own experiences have shown me that even in the toughest times, there is hope and strength in community. If you feel inspired by today's stories, I encourage you to get involved in your local community. Volunteer, donate, or simply lend a helping hand to those in need. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay hopeful and stay connected.